From ABC News, 2020 continues. Once again, Hugh Downs.
The dramatic story you're about to hear was brought to my attention by the doctor you're about to meet. It is, in part, his personal story, but it unfolds around a little girl he treated many years ago. He was a young doctor then, called in to save her life. The medical treatment he chose haunted him for years after. Had he done the right thing? What had become of the little girl? Well, tonight you'll be there as he meets her again, and perhaps their reunion would ease the burden he carried, the unknown consequences of the most difficult decision of his career.
Well, good morning.
Dr. Morton Goldberg has told this story countless times to generations of medical students and resident doctors.
I wanted to tell you about a patient I've been taking care of. She was referred to me by a Chicago ophthalmologist with an eye that had been wandering.
This story is about the profound role he was forced to play in altering the course of this child's life, and about the extraordinary result that was impossible to foresee. Dr. Goldberg is now the director of the Wilmer Eye Institute in Baltimore, Maryland, one of the top ophthalmology hospitals in the world. But 26 years ago in Chicago, when the young doctor examined one-year-old Cara Dunne, Dr. Goldberg remembers looking into her blue eyes and knowing instantly the only course of action that would save her life.
Microscopic evaluation confirmed the diagnosis of retinoblastoma, far advanced, and I recommended to the mother that we remove that eye, which we did immediately.
Retinoblastoma is a rare cancer that, if left untreated, is almost always fatal. The removal of Cara's left eye only marked the beginning of a battle to save the remaining eye. Cara's eyes were tested every 3 weeks for 4 years.
We wanted desperately to save the other eye. I turned the decision-making over in my head innumerable times and looked at it from every angle I could think of, trying to be certain that I had made the right series of decisions.
As Cara's mother conferred with Dr. Goldberg, her daughter's vision faded away. Mary Zabelski was forced to confront the devastating reality.
He finally took me aside and said, "I have to be frank with you, if this was my daughter, my child, I would have the eye removed." And that's when I think I made the decision that we have to do this. We have to remove that eye.
This was the one and only time Dr. Goldberg has been forced to completely blind a patient. He agonized over Cara's future and worried that she would grow up hating the doctor who had taken her sight.
That must have been an awful burden, even knowing that you had done the best thing in order to save her life. What were your feelings when you removed her second eye?
Well, we knew we had lost the battle to save her eye. We hoped we had won the more important war to save her life, but I felt absolutely miserable about it.
Losing her sight was traumatic enough, but Cara faced another concern. The cancer could attack again at any time.
Retinoblastoma of the inherited type is well known to be associated with late occurring primary cancers elsewhere in the body. I remember commenting to my surgical assistant, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I said, "George, I think this child's going to have a miserable existence." I was very, very unhappy about it, and I didn't have much hope for her social future or her career future.
Dr. Goldberg lost touch with the family. Cara's parents had divorced, leaving Mary to raise a blind child alone. From the moment Cara arrived home from the hospital, Mary insisted she have a normal childhood. She even gave Cara a bicycle and sent her outside to play with the other kids.
She came running in the house and she said, "Mommy, I can't see the sunshine anymore." But I remember giving her a hug and a kiss and saying, "Honey, just go back outside and play. It's okay. Show the other kids your bike."
After all the surgeries, you lost track of her after a while, didn't you, for a number of years? What did you think had happened to her?
I just had assumed she had gotten sick and died.
Nothing could have been further from the truth.
Go, 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 go. Right pole, come around. Go, go, go.
Cara's mother remarried, and it was her stepfather, Rich Zabelski, who introduced Cara to a whole new world, ski racing. The speed and freedom were exhilarating beyond anything Cara had experienced. Zabelski even started guiding Cara through ski racing courses at 9 years old.
Whatever the expectation of any parent would be for any kid, this is the same expectation that I had for her. When you start to work with her, you realize that she's just as creative and just as energetic as you are.
Together, they revolutionized blind ski racing.
1, 2, 3, go, go.
In the traditional method, the guide was behind the racer. But Cara had her stepfather guide from in front so she could follow his voice.
Go, left pole, coming around.
Using this new technique in events like this, 11-year-old Cara won the National Giant Slalom Championship and was selected to compete in the Winter World Games for the disabled. She went on to win the national championship for the next 7 years. A team of coaches, family, and friends assembled around Cara, providing constant encouragement. Olympic champion Billy Kidd coached her in ski racing.
I was really impressed with her skiing technique, but I was more impressed with her attitude because she came out and skied and went right down through the bumps. She fell, she'd get up, she'd fall again, get up. There was no keeping her down.
Plant your pole here.
Here was a sport that she could do that the other kids weren't as competent in. I think it really gave her a feeling of self-worth. Her peers at school want to be her friends, and this is just super. They don't look at her as that blind kid. They look at her as this, boy, wow, she can ski, wow.
Cara became an outstanding athlete, and she quickly learned to use her other senses to compensate for blindness. She's now 27 years old and has a passion for bicycle racing.
I taught myself to be able to hear obstacles.
I had heard that you had an uncanny ability to navigate.
What I had trouble dealing with was the way people treated me. And so I decided the best way to deal with it was just to pretend that I could see. So I would, memorize books, and then I'd sit down and I'd have the book open and I'd pretend like I was reading it and, recite the words out.
What effect did that have on them?
They believed me half the time.
And Cara excelled in school. Her outstanding athletic and academic accomplishments led to Cara being the only blind student accepted at Harvard University for the class of 1992. Already fluent in Spanish, she learned Japanese and then traveled to Japan alone, where she spent a summer. Then Cara found herself addressing her graduating class, reading her speech from Braille notes.
Good afternoon. Well, as our senior class t-shirt puts it, we just did it.
All right.
Her fellow students had elected Cara first marshal of her graduating class. She is the only student with a disability to have been given the honor. And as luck would have it, this accomplishment led to a revelation that was long overdue. Still wondering what had become of his patient, and assuming she had died, Dr. Goldberg picked up his Harvard alumni bulletin late one night.
I said, there can't be more than one Cara Dunne in this world. Then I realized in reading the story that this was a blind person who was a champion skier, and it was like someone hit me between my own eyes with a 2x4. So I certainly didn't sleep that night. I was so excited about it.
But the chance to get to know his remarkable patient was delayed by another life-threatening setback. The cancer Dr. Goldberg had dreaded since Cara's childhood struck again.
And then finally her mother did call me a couple of years ago, and the call that I had always dreaded came true. She said Cara felt a lump in her cheekbone, and it did turn out to be a primary bone cancer.
Cara has faced daunting obstacles before and never given up. But would this new setback finally break her spirit? You'll find out when Hugh continues, and you'll be there for a moving reunion. Cara and the doctor who saved her life but took her sight. Stay with us.
Cara Dunne has shown extraordinary strength of character. Neither cancer nor the loss of her eyes when she was a little girl destroyed her spirit. But in 1993, the cancer returned, attacking her right cheekbone. She endured a painful series of operations on her face and extensive chemotherapy. How would she handle this new and devastating setback? Well, you'll be amazed and inspired. While still recovering, Cara was making plans for a whole new endeavor.
I just decided that, I wanted to just do as many unusual, really exciting things as I could just to sort of celebrate being back. And I kind of threw myself into bike racing.
Ready, go!
Track racing became the sort of thrill that skiing can be. That exhilarating, incredible adrenaline rush. I couldn't imagine what life would be without the track.
Cara teamed up with Scott Evans, an accomplished racer. Together on a tandem racing bike, they practiced 8 hours a day.
You look at her and she's not very big, but she has freakish strength for someone of her size. And when I give the command to go, the bike just boom, there's this tremendous surge of power.
Cara and Scott set their sights on winning a medal for cycling at the 1996 Summer Games in Atlanta.
I think it was one of those moments, probably kind of similar to going through cancer treatment. You shut your mind to the implications, and the only thing you think about is the effort at hand.
Evans and Dunne won both the bronze and the silver medals.
Must have been a surprise and a pleasant one when they announced
Yeah, I guess
that you
I'm still pretty surprised thinking about it.
But it's hard to imagine an event more meaningful than this. After 20 years, we brought Dr. Goldberg and Cara together again. For the doctor, it was a long-anticipated moment. Finally, the opportunity to know his remarkable patient.
Wow. Good morning.
Cara broke the ice with a suitable one-liner.
Great.
What kind of see?
You got big. How you doing?
I was really excited to see Dr. Goldberg because it was a part of my history. But here was someone who'd saved my life, who'd made life-saving decisions for me, someone who I'd love, would have loved to share parts of my life.
With guide dog Haley napping between them, it was time for the patient to ask the questions that Dr. Goldberg had pondered for decades.
I was always wondering would it have been better to remove the eye earlier?
That was always on my mind. But for a sighted person, to make a decision to remove all sight from a baby who can't speak for herself is a painful decision.
And then Cara made a surprising revelation.
I think if you offered me sight right now, I'd tell you to give it to somebody who really felt that it was something that they couldn't live without. Mm-hmm. You were meant to be someone who sees because of the major work that you do. But I don't think that the things that I need to be able to do are things that can't be done without sight.
I think you'll do more good in this world telling people your story and showing them what a person can accomplish if they have a positive attitude and perseverance. So we have something for you that's that we hope is meaningful to you. It's a box where you can put your personal things, and there's some braille on the surface, and you can tell us whether we made a mistake with the braille. You want to read it for us?
The Cara Dunne Fund for Research and Rehabilitation in Childhood Eye Disease at the Wilmer Eye Institute, established with love and admiration in honor of Cara Dunne and all those who see through the mind's eye. Wow,
well, that's
beautiful.
Through this fund for retinoblastoma research, Dr. Goldberg had found a way for Cara's experience to benefit other kids who have lost their sight.
I think that you gave me the biggest gift anyone could have given me 20 years ago when you gave me my life back. That I can't think of any better thing.
I wish it could have been more. It's an easy pitfall to think that a totally blind baby will not be able to adapt to normal life. And I've learned time and time again now the value of a constant, loving, nurturing environment and informal support groups, friends and relatives, and they were all indispensable to this young woman's success. And success it has been.
There is no such thing as a predetermined good quality life. I think what's essential is that what happened to me was what should happen to everybody who loses their sight, and that's that the people around them don't lose their expectations for them.
I've often asked myself the definition of disability. Is Cara Dunne really disabled? I can't do many of the things she can do, so doesn't that make me disabled rather than she?
What a story.
Isn't it?
What a lesson.
Yeah.
How is Cara's cancer?
Well, this was 1993 that it was discovered, and she's been in the clear since 93, and they like to say 5 years, for cured. But I think she's in the clear, and it's gone. It's been 4 years, and that appears to be gone. So I think she's licked it.
Now, what's her latest challenge?
Her most recent challenge is that she and her partner, Scott Evans, are going to be, they're gearing up for the Olympics in Sydney in the year 2000.
Wow.
And she just goes on from one championship to another. And recently, she graduated from UCLA Law School, so she's going to have law work in addition to everything else.
The power of the human spirit, the power of love.
It's there.
We'll be right back.